Reflection across both axes. In the lesson activity, you came up with a rule for how to reflect a point across both the x-axis and the y-axis. Let's take a look at how that works. We'll find the coordinates of a point reflected across the x and y axes. G, -4, 3, is a point that lies in quadrant 2 of the coordinate plane. To find the coordinates of the reflection of G, -4, 3, across both axes, we have to reflect G, -4, 3, first across the x-axis to find G prime, and then across the y-axis to locate G double prime. When G, -4, 3, is reflected across the x-axis, the coordinates of the reflected point G prime are -4, -3. And when G prime, -4, -3, is reflected across the y-axis, the coordinates of the reflected point G double prime are 4, -3. So G double prime, 4, -3, is the reflection of G, -4, 3 across the x-axis and the y-axis.
So you can see when it is reflected across two axes, we go from the original point, which was 4, -3, actually -4, 3, the original point, and then when you reflect it across two axes, both of the x and the y coordinates become opposites. So the opposite of -4 is +4, and the opposite of +3 is -3. So once we've gone across both axes, we end up with the x being opposite and the y being opposite.
You can also find the reflection of G, -4, 3 across both axes without graphing it. To do so, you just have to change the signs of the x and y coordinates. The coordinates of the reflected point G double prime are 4, -3. This point is in quadrant 4.
So point V, 4.5, -3 is reflected across both the x and the y axes. So that means that the 4.5 is going to be the opposite, which would be -4.5. And the -3 is going to be opposite, which would be +3. Oh, -4.5, +3, sorry. Oops. The opposite of 4.5 is -4.5. The opposite of -3 is 3. I just clicked the wrong one. Sorry about that.
Summary. In this lesson, you learned to plot points on the coordinate plane and to reflect points across the coordinate axes. The coordinate plane includes two intersecting number lines, the x-axis and the y-axis. The point at which the x-axis and the y-axis intersect is called the origin 0. The axes divide the coordinate plane into 4 quadrants, which are numbered as shown. The location of a point on the coordinate plane is given by an ordered pair, x, y. The numbers x and y are the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate of the point. The signs of the two coordinates determine which quadrant the point lies in. To plot a point on the coordinate plane, first locate the x-coordinate on the x-axis. Then move parallel to the y-axis to locate the y-coordinate. To reflect a point across the x-axis, change the sign of the y-coordinate, keeping the x-coordinate the same. To reflect a point across the y-axis, change the sign of the x-coordinate, keeping the y-coordinate the same. To reflect a point across both the axes, change the signs of both coordinates.